Recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. At the Summer Olympics men's basketball, Team USA leads South Sudan 55-36 at the half. Bam Adebayo off the bench, 14 points, 3 boards, a steal, a rebound, and 1 block. On the day he was recalled from AAA, Orioles infielder Jackson Holliday hit his first home run, a grand slam. Baltimore beat Toronto 10-4. Yankees got 6 RBI from DJ LeMahieu, completed the sweep of the Phillies 6-5. The animated discussions at Jets training camp between quarterback Aaron Rodgers and receiver Garrett Wilson that blew up on social media were not what they seemed, according to Rodgers. Wilson also downplayed the incident.
I'm a different guy out on the field than I am, whenever y'all see me after the game or whenever it may be. And Aaron's kind of the same way. So we're both like-minded. We're trying to figure out a way to attack our defense, and he'll tell me why he needed me at this depth. I'll play receiver, so I'm like, man, I was open here. That's just how I am.
Jets receiver Garrett Wilson. Jurgen Klopp ruled himself out of the running for the coaching vacancies of the U.S. and England's men's soccer teams. He's been strongly linked to the U.S. opening.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you which quarterback coming off an injury I have the most confidence in. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to do today. I forgot what I normally do here. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
LSU reported for fall camp today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Brian Kelly was at the Rotary Club.
Hump day.
Said they're going to be awesome, play great defense, and go undefeated.
It's hump day.
And win a natty.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Audio coming up shortly.
Hump day.
Clint Kubiak spoke with reporters at Saints camp.
It's hump day.
Said Derek Carr is going to win an MVP. They're going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Audio coming shortly.
Hump day.
Brandon Taylor next hour.
It's hump day.
Ross Jackson, hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Pluckers trivia.
Hump day.
Bourbon dictionary.
It's hump day.
Drop my paper.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
I really did. I dropped it.
It's hump day.
No worries, Muse.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Don't need to talk to feel anything, Muse. I got it.
Day.
Got it.
You could still hear yourself off mic, so I was still hitting the drops.
It's hump day.
We got it.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Man, we got a lot to do today. I'm fired up for this show today. We're all here. Glad you are. Let's kick it off as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, it is an annual rite of passage. It is the proverbial bridge from the summer to fall camp. Brian Kelly on the Wednesday before LSU opens fall camp speaks to the Rotary Club, and I shouldn't just say Brian Kelly, I should say the LSU coach, because so too was it for Ed Ogeron and Les Miles and Nick Saban before him and Jared DiNardo before him. This is sort of the last public appearance the LSU coach makes before the start of fall camp on the day that the team reports. So LSU football reported the fall camp on Wednesday. They will hit the practice field, and media can watch the entire practice tomorrow starting at 9:45 a.m. We're looking forward to it. And Brian Kelly, boy, did he have high praise for the commitment and work that this team has done in this offseason.
When you talk about football teams and what you expect from them, you expect personal accountability to each other, and doing that on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the most accountable football teams that I have seen in my time as a head football coach going on 33 years.
That's a mouthful, y'all. One of the most accountable teams he's seen in 33 years. Generally, when you have accountability like that, it's usually a product of great veteran leadership. And I know that this team has lost a lot, that we've talked about it a ton. The Heisman winner, 2 first-round picks, you lose a lot. We get it, right? They've lost a lot. But you also have a fourth-year quarterback who's a starter. Your best player is a 3-year starter at left tackle. You have veteran guys all over this team. One of your most vocal players is Major Burns, who, again, is going into his final year. So you do have veteran leaders all over this team. Yes, LSU absolutely has questions. Giant question marks about replacing talented, productive players. Literally the best player in college football a year ago. But they're starting at a good place when you have good leadership and buy-in. That's something Brian Kelly has talked about, and why his year 3 teams have done well is because of that accountability. Now listen, every time a coach is going to sit there and talk to the media or talk in public before a season, it's going to be sunshine and roses. It's going to be, here's why we are, here's why we can, here's what we're going to be good at, and you're not going to highlight the negative. Ultimately, the season in the SEC tends to expose that. But a good jumping off point is when you have that much leadership and buy-in, and that's something Brian Kelly talked about wanting to instill from day one, so they're closer to that. A couple of other just sort of housekeeping notes from Brian Kelly. Injuries, always interesting at this point going into camp. If you were listening around the SEC a day ago, we told you about Mississippi State, who's going to be down 2 really contributing players that are still recovering from injuries at the start of their season, is called into question. That was certainly the case at this time a year ago at the start of the season. Well, here was Brian Kelly on the injuries going into this camp.
We're very healthy coming into camp, where we don't have any injuries that are going to put ourselves in a position where we don't have our football team ready for the opener against USC.
So that's fantastic news. Remember, Zy Alexander tore his ACL in November, started the first 8 games, tore his ACL, missed the remainder of the season. Brian Kelly told me at media days, Zy Alexander should be good at the start of fall camp. Remember, John Emery tore his ACL against Florida. That was the week after the Alabama game last year. It was Jaden Daniels' incredible game. I mean, it's been less than a year, obviously, and Emery was transferring to UCLA and ultimately came back. Now, we'll see if John Emery is out there on Thursday, if he's limited in some capacity. But Brian Kelly pretty adamantly there said nothing that's going to preclude them from having anybody at the start of the season against USC. A guy like J.K. Johnson, remember, transferred in from Ohio State, was injured in fall camp last year, missed all of last season. He did participate in spring, so out there and good to go. So we'll keep an eye on that as they move through camp. But Brian Kelly's teams, I will say this. I don't mean to jinx anybody. I don't believe in jinxes or anything like that. But they have been remarkably healthy in fall camp each of his previous 2 seasons in Baton Rouge. And maybe it's a a hat tip to the work that they've done in the offseason and the training and the preparation and the athletic training, et cetera. But they've been healthy and look like they're starting this fall camp healthy as well. Two other things that I thought were really interesting from Brian Kelly meeting with reporters at Rotary. I shouldn't say with reporters, just being at Rotary on Wednesday. The defense is one of the questions everybody's going to ask about. And I don't know that Brian Kelly could have given a more generic answer to the defense question. Here's what he said.
I am really excited about not only, Blake Baker and the staff that we brought in on defense. I'm excited about the players that we have developed and now have an opportunity to really show themselves this year.
I'm excited about our coach and the players that have developed and have a chance to show themselves this year. Okay. Defense is going to be a giant mystery. I think we all anticipate they're going to be better, but it's the way everybody said it. You can't help but be better. It would be hard to be any worse. You'd have to be, yet again, the worst defense in the history of the program. But how much better can you be? I think that's going to start with the defensive line. In my contention on the defensive line is that while you don't have any stars on that interior, what you have is numbers and veteran players. Brian Kelly talked about that today at Rotary.
A defensive line that at many times last year, people talked about the inability for them to hold up. You're going to see, I think, the kind of depth and a number of players that got a chance to play a little bit last year that this year will really come into their own from a defensive perspective. And I'm excited to watch them play for us and continue to show.
Jacoby and Guillory, fifth-year senior. Jalen Lee going into his senior season. Gio Paez, sixth-year player. JVR Suggs, sixth-year player. Kimo Macaneoli moving from offense to defense, but a senior. You're talking about a defensive line, an interior defensive line that has a whole bunch of dudes that are 22 and 23 years old. I know I've said this all offseason. You've heard me say it, so I don't mean to be repetitive, but I'll take a bunch of dudes that are 22, 23 years old going against 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids. There's no star power there. You don't have a future All-American on this defensive line. You don't have a first-round draft pick, but can you make it work? Paris Shand, another veteran guy who can play both inside and out. And then you have some young talent coming in. Everyone's obviously very high on Don McKinley. 6'6", 320 is what they have him listed at right now, which is amazing. I mean, it's a giant human coming in as a true freshman. I mean, Sean Washington, the JUCO transfer who started his career at Georgia. He's entering his third year of college football. Like, you have numbers. You have veteran players. Can somebody break through? And if not one person have the big blow-up year, can you make it work with numbers and a veteran rotation? I think that's the plan this year. I have no misgivings. I'm not sitting here telling you any of these guys are going to be All-American or All-SEC. I don't think there's one on this team. But I do think there's enough numbers and veteran players there to where if they're well coached under Bo Davis, they're going to be certainly more productive than they were a year ago. And lastly, Brian Kelly was pretty adamant about a 12-team college football playoff and what it's going to take.
Last year, we were 9-3 in the regular season. We would have been just on the outside looking in. So I think if you look at it in the perspective of where you need to be one of those 12 teams, 9-3 was probably not good enough to get in. You're probably going to need to be a little bit better than that. And maybe don't give up 50-something points to one of your teams that you play, and you're in the playoffs. And we don't plan on doing that again.
It's fair to say you close out a 9-point lead against Ole Miss on the road. I don't know if you'd have been a playoff team a year ago, but under this format, you would be. So it all starts for LSU when they hit the practice field on Thursday. Much more from Brian Kelly throughout the day as well. And while we're so focused on the present, it's also exciting to talk about the future. LSU did flip an SEC commitment on Wednesday. We'll talk about that in a smidge. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. Of course, if you're going to be kicking back watching the Hall of Fame game on Thursday, if you're going to be watching any of the preseason football, if you're getting out to any camps, maybe you're just relaxing in these final few weeks of summer before the kids are back to school and you're back to the grind, make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. Whether you're barbecuing outside, watching the ball game, hanging out by the pool, if you're at the beach, drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints, and the official beer of AFR. Drink easy with Bud Light. Okay, let me knock on a break. Former Tiger safety Brandon Taylor 1 hour from right now. Ross Jackson in his spot to begin hour 3. We get a Saints camp report. Got a ton to do. When we come back, LSU flips an SEC commitment. I want to tell you about him next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know where to find them. Find them all over the state of Louisiana. Of course, you can find them online at getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or you can call 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Or go to getgordon.com. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon and his team of attorneys have been servicing the state of Louisiana for more than 30 years, and they've helped more than 10,000 Louisiana residents recover more than $2 billion in damages. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for more than 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Remember, you're always welcome to call if you want to talk to a living, breathing human. You can do it anywhere in the state of Louisiana. Just call 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Or online at getgordon.com. You can fill out all the information right there. There's a Get Gordon button. Just tap that button right there on the home screen. Go to getgordon.com. Getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. Every Wednesday, trivia over at Plucker's. That means tonight, both locations. Man, Brian Kelly and his staff just keep doing work. Coming out of the Bayou Splash this weekend, one of the players that earned an invite and then at the Bayou Splash earned his offer from Blake Baker was linebacker Jaden Breaker out of Georgia, who had been committed to South Carolina. Note I said had been committed to South Carolina. That's because just 4 days after earning his offer from LSU while at the Bayou Splash, Jaden Breaker flipped his commitment from South Carolina to LSU. I'll give you a little bit of the backstory here on Jaden Breaker. Committed to the Gamecocks back on July the 6th. He is a 3-star. He's the third linebacker now committed for LSU's class of 2025, joining Charles Ross out of Houston and Keelan Moses, of course, out of U-High in Baton Rouge. Breaker is, what's interesting about Breaker is he's listed as an outside linebacker, or he plays outside linebacker in high school. 6'3", 210. Reminds me a lot of those Taj Jones type linebackers that LSU used to have in the John Chavis era. Lamine Barrow, remember, of course, wore the number 18. They were guys that were tall and long, weren't very heavy, but man, they could run sideline to sideline. And as the game started evolving offensively, you had to have linebackers that weren't the prototypical 255-pound inside backer. You had to have dudes that could run. Guys like Taj Jones and Lamine Barrow. And then ultimately now you see a guy like Jaden Breaker who kind of fits that mold. So 6'3", 210. He's out of Georgia. He's a 3-star, the 74th ranked linebacker in the composite. Again, had been committed to South Carolina, but has a whole bunch of other offers. South Carolina, Kentucky, Rutgers, NC State, Utah, Georgia Tech, Indiana, Cincinnati, Cal, BYU, Liberty. So, again, a lot of Power 5 offers, or I guess Power 4 now, Power 4 offers, but maybe some smaller schools among the Power 4. But what I can't help but think of is two things. Number one, obviously, well, there's a few things. Number one, do you trust Blake Baker? This is Blake Baker's position group. He is the primary recruiter on Jaden Breaker. If Blake Baker looked at Jaden Breaker and said, I want to get that guy to campus, takes a look at him, meets him, offers him, wants to take the commitment, I'm good with that because I trust Blake Baker. That's number one. Number two, you absolutely have to have numbers in this class at linebacker. Just look at the linebacker position for LSU for next year, okay? You know in 2024, you've got Harold Perkins, got Greg Penn, you got both Weeks brothers. West and Whit Weeks are both back. You got Devon Keys, you got Tylen Singleton. So you have enough numbers now. Remember Christian Braithwaite, who signed a year ago, he's already transferred. You've got numbers now. But look at next year. Harold Perkins has gone pro. Greg Penn, West Weeks out of eligibility. So when you look at 2025, that means you're left with Whit Weeks, Devon Keys, Tylen Singleton. That's it. So you need to add numbers in this recruiting class, and then you're likely hitting the transfer portal for somebody with experience as well to supplement, like you did a year ago when you brought in Omar Spates. Now, that didn't work out, but understand why you did it. You needed to add a veteran guy who had played a ton of football to try to help supplement some of your young guys that were getting older or getting more experienced. So when next year you've just got Witt, Keys, and Singleton, you need numbers. So you've got Charles Ross already committed, you got Keelan Moses already committed, and now you got Jaden Breaker. And when I try to look at the upside, and I think we all understand, y'all, not every recruit is always going to work out. I don't know if Jaden Breaker will. But I can look at two things. I can look at upside for certain. I can look at a guy that is 6'3", 210 going into his senior year. What if over the next 12 months, 6'3", 210 becomes 6'3 1/4", 225? Is it plausible to think that a dude throughout his senior year and then when his senior year ends, gets into a strength and conditioning program at LSU through spring and summer and then shows up in the fall at 220, 225? Yeah. So that part of it is really intriguing. Do you like the skill set, the frame, and say, can I build on that? That's number one. If it checks the box, great. The other thing on top of that, I think, is just numbers with the roster. Remember, the NCAA just passed the new legislation expanding rosters for next year to 110. Maybe a guy like Jaden Breaker is a guy that when you have an 85-man scholarship limit, doesn't get the offer from LSU because you're hard capped at 85. You could sign as many as you want in the high school class, but you can't go over 85, right? Well, now that you're going from 85 to 110, you're adding, or 105, 110, whichever it was, I forgot. When you're adding 20 scholarships to the football program, all of a sudden now you can look at a guy like Jaden Breaker and say, you know what? At 85, we couldn't take you. At 105, we got room. And there's no cap on the number of the number of signees you can have in the high school class. So, yeah, if you like the guy, you like the potential, the upside, that's a guy you can say, hey, look, yeah, you can go to South Carolina and play there for a year, get bigger, and then transfer somewhere, or we can take you now and get you into our culture, our system now. This is one of the side effects, in my opinion, one of the early effects that you're going to see of the expanded rosters. It's the guys that in the portal era were kind of the ones that, I don't want to say we're the losers in the portal era. I think those are guys that were the marginal high school recruits that when schools would take a transfer player instead of the lower rated guy, now that lower rated guy has a spot anyway. Let me give you an example so I say that clear. I don't think I explained that well. And I know I've given this example before, but let me just illustrate it again. The one I like to use is Lloyd Cushenberry. Lloyd Cushenberry, coming out of Dutchtown, was literally the last guy in LSU's class. He had to wait on signing day to know, based on how things fell, because at the time they did have a hard cap of 25, he didn't know until signing day if they were going to have a spot. Ultimately, it worked out. They had a spot. He sits, waits for 3 years, and then starts the final two, and we know it's gone great. Well, in the portal era, you may never take that guy. You may not take that guy. Because in the portal era, instead of taking the guy that's going to take a roster spot and sit for 3 years, you'd rather say, I'm not going to take the guy that's going to sit for 3 years. Let me take the transfer that's played already for 3 years and has one to go. That's sometimes a more appealing option in the portal era. So that guy that, in this hypothetical, the Lloyd Cushenberry, ends up going somewhere else, smaller school, plays for 3 years, and then transfers to the bigger school. Jaden Breaker, I think, is a good example of a guy who, without an expanded roster in the portal era, probably doesn't get this opportunity. I don't know that definitively, but probably doesn't. But now that you have an expanded roster, you can say, all right, I don't need you to go play somewhere else. Come be part of our program. Come learn our culture. Come be coached up by Blake Baker. Come get an hour strength and conditioning program and get bigger, stronger, faster. What Brian Kelly has said so many times he wants to do. He wants to recruit and develop players and men. And I've told you so many times, I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if that strategy works. Similarly, I don't know if Lane Kiffin's strategy of going and signing 25 guys in the portal every year is going to work to win a national championship. It's probably some blend, and we'll see how it goes. But what you're seeing here, I think, is a net positive outcome of an expanded roster. Because today, I don't know if Jaden Breaker would have gotten an LSU offer, but for the expanded rosters. And maybe this is a guy now that you're betting very much on the upside, and you could bring him in here for 3 years instead of saying, hey, go play somewhere else for 3 years, and then we'll bring you in for a season or two. So I like it. Jaden Breaker, 3-star, out of Georgia, committed to South Carolina, flips to LSU on Wednesday. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, Hardy Plank vinyl siding. They do it all. And, oh, yeah, they do indoor shutters as well. And I keep telling you about their 3D model technology. Call over to Relief Windows or go online, get in touch with an associate, set an appointment. You can go over to their office. Gorgeous state-of-the-art office. The same company that redesigned LSU football ops is the one that designed the Relief Windows showroom right there on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Well, you walk in, you'll talk to one of the associates. They can pull up this 3D model technology and show you exactly what the windows, the door, the siding would look like on the home. So you don't have to guess. You don't have to like look at a flip book of pictures of or a little panel and a strip of what that may look like. You don't have to guess. You could see it on one of these 3D models. So cool. They have it there at Relief Windows, so check them out at reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com. 288-8138 for Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Pumped to have you here. Taylor Calandro, 15 minutes to do a little Bourbon Dictionary, so get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Brandon Taylor in 45 minutes, Ross Jackson here in hour 3 for a Saints camp report. Let me knock out a break, come back, go around the SEC, and have you heard what Texas A&M quarterback Connor Wegman said about the Aggies playing the Longhorns this year? Let's just say that Connor Wegman channeled his inner Broadway Joe. You'll hear it next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Actually, we're just in the hallway before we came into studio. And I tell you all the time, go check the Clegg's Facebook page because they're so good whenever they get new shipments or inventory about posting. And I mean, I was literally in the hallway about to come on, and I saw this post. Tomato plants are there. They need to be planted soon for a fall harvest. So if you're interested, my dad, at this age in his life, my dad just started planting a vegetable garden in his backyard. I guess, as they say, you're never too old to try new things. My dad is now planting vegetables. The guy's never planted a vegetable in his life. Grew up in New Orleans, has no clue about being a green thumb. But anyway, this is the time. Hey, Pops, you want tomatoes, you need to plant them right now. And Clegg's Nursery can help you out. So get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Value Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Value Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Value Ford is going to do right by you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties, so retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are looking for the ultimate tailgate. Snap a pic of your setup and upload it to 1045ESPN.com for a chance to win $500 in Rouse's gift cards. Our judges will select a winner on August the 29th. It's the ultimate tailgate giveaway from Rouse's Market, Citizens Bank and Trust, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So there's a publication called Dave Campbell's Texas Football you might be familiar with. It's kind of like Louisiana Football Magazine or Phil Steele, but it's just for the state of Texas. And Donald Dave Campbell's Texas Football has been around forever. Well, there was a photo shoot where both Connor Wegman and Quinn Ewers were featured. And when Connor Wegman, the A&M quarterback, was speaking with reporters before the Aggies hit the practice for fall camp here under Mike Elko for the first time, Wegman was asked about that photo shoot and if it made him want to beat the Longhorns even more. Here's what Connor Wegman said.
I mean, I've always wanted to beat Texas. Like, that's a given. So, I mean, I don't know if it was more after that, but yeah, that's a given. That's going to happen.
Okay. I need a ruling. Did Connor Wegman call his shot against the Longhorns? Are we counting that?
I'm counting that, yes.
Paul, are you counting that?
I would say yes.
Kibi, intern, are we counting that?
I would say yes also.
All right, let's hear it again, because I think the important note here is that's going to happen wasn't very declarative. You know what I mean? It was kind of like he softened his voice and then just kind of rolled it. Like, oh, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he paused. That's going to happen. You know what I mean? He didn't say it with his chest out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I got you.
Let's hear it again.
Whole thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to beat Texas. Like, that's a given. So, I mean, I don't know if it was more after that, but yeah, that's a given. That's going to happen.
I'm still counting it because, I mean, and you know what? You're right. He didn't necessarily say it with his chest, but he said it kind of with a chuckle. Like, I mean, come on, man. That's a given. Like, that's going to happen.
The chuckle part was at the beginning, which almost made you think, like, is he joking?
Yeah.
I'm way psychoanalyzing this because I'm trying to give the kid an out. As our dear friend Alden Cartwright learned back in 2014. Cartwright? Not a great thing to go bold with the prediction. Joe Namath made the bold prediction in Super Bowl III. It hit. Muhammad Ali against Sonny Liston. Said I'm the greatest. Not just that I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to tell you when. Did it in the first round, 2 minutes into the fight. That's the famous photo that you didn't know who it was, Muse, by the way.
I know now.
Yeah, you do. You'll know forevermore.
There you
go. Plaxico Burress in 2007. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Plaxico Burress, when the Giants were facing the 18-0 Patriots, not only made the prediction, he gave the final score. He said 23-17. They ended up winning 17-14. And Tom Brady joked about it after. He's like, come on, Plax. I mean, what, are you going to play defense? We're only going to score 17 points? Like, well, actually, you only scored 14, dog. Go. I don't know, man. Connor Wegman kind of feels like he just went out there on a limb. That game is in Kyle Field.
It is. Do you think the reason it was
Thanksgiving weekend?
You think it was like softer from him there is because maybe he kind of realized what he was doing in that moment, but it was like, we'll do it anyway, and just didn't have the forcefulness behind it?
Maybe. And I think we also know now why Mike Elko didn't bring Connor Wegman to SEC Media Days. Because you say that with a little gaggle of reporters there in College Station. Not as big a deal as if you had said it with all of the conference media in Dallas at SEC Football Media Days. But also why I think everybody should bring their quarterback. Because imagine how good of a story that would have been. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Your first call when you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be First South Farm Credit. Like, every farmer in this state knows about First South Farm Credit. Because since 1916, First South Farm Credit, helping Louisianians buy land, so you need that 1,000 acres for agriculture. They got you. You know that. What you may not know is if you're looking to buy that hunting property, that recreational property, First South Farm Credit can help. If you're thinking of buying that acreage to build your family's dream home, First South Farm Credit can help. And how often do you ever borrow money and the lender writes you a check? Well, at First South Farm Credit, that happens every year. It's their patronage refund. Because they're a cooperative, they share their profits with their borrowers. So it effectively lowers your cost of borrowing. It's First South Farm Credit. Start here. FirstSouthLand.com. 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 Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Jaheim Oates, defensive lineman from Alabama, back at full strength for the start of preseason camp after missing spring with an injury. He was participating in uniform and drills during the Tide's practice period that were open to the media on Wednesday as Alabama hit the practice field today, Wednesday. The junior started 3 games for Bama a year ago but played in all 13. Looks to be a potential starter this year. He was a starter in 10 games for the Tide back in 2022.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Offensive lineman Paul Rodriguez has medically retired from football due to a lower back and spinal injury. Rodriguez signed with Kentucky as part of its 2021 signing class. He was a 3-star prospect out of Ohio. With Rodriguez retired, Ben Christman, a junior transfer from Ohio State, who missed all of last year at Kentucky with an injury, is most likely to take Rodriguez's spot on the depth chart.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Defensive lineman Darian Smith has committed to Tennessee over Ohio State. He's out of St. Francis in Maryland. 6'2", 260. I was in Knoxville this past weekend. Again, picked LSU over Ohio State. Visited the Vols 5 times over the course of his recruitment.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
And Georgia has added former Georgia Tech assistant Andrew Thacker to its staff. News confirmed by Dogs 24/7. He'll be in an off-field role. Thacker joins Georgia after spending the past 5 seasons with the Yellow Jackets, where he's defensive coordinator for the past 4.5 years. Yellow Jackets had 13 All-ACC defensive selections during Thacker's time on staff. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Remember, our Hump Day shows, as always, are brought to you by Pluckers. Get on by trivia tonight, every single Wednesday. 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Oh, Muse.
Yeah.
I got the Pluckers trivia questions a bit ago from our guy, Stevie Levy, the king of the wing.
And?
You may want to call T-Bob.
Oh, Lord. What nerd thing do we have this week?
Harry Potter.
Ugh.
You know anything about Harry Potter?
Not really.
Well, you knew nothing about anime, and you nailed that. So I think you just have a lot of nerddom buried down deep that you don't like to admit. So I think you may actually nail this.
No, I've never seen the movies and I've never read the books. So actually, I no, like I have no basis in Harry Potter. I did see the other day, like I think it was supposed to be set in like the 1990s or something like that. Then.
What if it was Harry Pothead?
That really wasn't good, but I just figured I'd give you that.
Paul liked it. Look at him. Paul liked it.
Paul likes all of them.
Because they're funny.
Sounds like you're the only one that doesn't, Muse. Keeby, did you like that one? Yeah, pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I just
we got to get a third mic over there.
I think you've had better. I really do. I don't think that was your best effort there. I think you're losing it a little bit.
That one was just to put on a T for me. C&I singles still count, Muse. They don't have to be doubles off the wall.
Look like a line drive in the scorebook.
Still on base.
Yeah.
Still on base. All right, Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro. Get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Bourbon Dictionary next day here.
AFR.
Love being able to tell you about our friends over at Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. I've told you so much about Derek Duplessis, their process in building your new pool, your new backyard paradise. And now they do not cut corners. I mean, the entire process, start to finish, you should expect 2 months. And if there are companies telling you they can do it faster than that, they are cutting corners. At Duplessis Builders, they are building a premium product. That's why at Duplessis Builders, you will get a 10-year workmanship warranty on their work, when the industry standard is 1 year. But if you already have a pool, Duplessis Builders also does remodels. So if your pool is dated or aging, maybe it's starting to leak, or you just want a different look, you need to call Duplessis Builders. They can change the coping, the decking, the lighting, which basically looks like a brand new pool. It's DuplessisBuilders.net. Such a great experience. Gorgeous work. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Let's do it. Get your booze questions in. You can ask Taylor anything about anything, so fire away. Email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor with us via the GymsFirearms.net hotline. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Matt. I'm looking out at the Gulf of Mexico.
Look at my guy. Are you
now?
Is this a vacay?
This is the annual family vacay at the end of July. Yep.
You know, normally if you're going to be on vacay, you could always just shoot me a note and be like, "Hey, dog, I'm on vacation. I'm not
Brother, I got to get away from my kids for 15 minutes.
I don't blame you. Like Shay normally comes on with us on Tuesday. Shot him a text reminder, and he was like, "I'm out in California. Sorry, man." I was like, "No worries."
Doesn't work in Cali, man.
Well,
no, I've been taking care of my kids for 3 or 4 days. I need a little break.
So good. Well, what are you sipping on out there at the beach?
Dude, I've been sipping on Don Julio 70th anniversary. It's a Cristalino Añejo. I've been making margaritas with that for the past 3 or 4 days. It is fantastic. It's a clear tequila because it's a Cristalino, but I think they age it for like 18 months before they filter out the color and everything. And it's got a great barrel characteristic. It adds a great barrel characteristic to margarita or anything. It's fantastic. That's what I've been drinking all week.
Okay. So I just looked this up. That's about a $70 bottle of tequila, yes? Is that fair?
It's on the upper end. It's $70-$80 for sure. Yeah.
Okay, here's my question. I don't make whiskey cocktails with premium whiskey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you make a margarita with a $70 bottle of tequila?
So I'm not really drinking margs. I'm more like drinking a lot of tequila with a splash of lime and a splash of triple sec. It's really not even a margarita. I'm getting a lot of tequila. But I like higher end tequila for margarita. That's a really good question, Matt, because I don't mix high end whiskey with anything.
There it is. So
I've never thought about that.
So why do you do it then with tequila? Because you are still mixing it. Like I would never put anything other than ice in my whiskey.
That's right.
If that.
Now, there's a gigantic difference between like high-end tequila and really crappy tequila. So, but you can get decent tequila. I don't know. I have the luxury of drinking $80 tequila and mixing it right now. Maybe that's just the answer.
I don't blame you. Go ahead. But I think, Taylor, I don't know if this is the case. You can tell me if I'm wrong because I really don't know the industry. But sometimes, if I go to a restaurant and I look at a craft cocktail list, sometimes they're making craft cocktails with high-end spirits, I think just to drive up the price point. I could be wrong. You tell me.
No, so there's several different reasons why they would do that. Because they want to make a good cocktail. And good ingredients make a good cocktail.
Okay, that's fair.
If you want a good cocktail, and I tell all my customers this that are making cocktails from restaurants, they are using really good ingredients. So if you try to skimp and make a drink with crappy and cheap ingredients, it's going to show. And the reason restaurants do that, it could be for that, I don't know, or they're trying to just move a specific.
Yeah. That's more
product,
what I meant. Yeah,
which is very, very common in the restaurant industry. If they're trying to move something specifically, they'll throw it in a cocktail.
Right. Yep. Which, by the way, that's totally fine. I guess I'm just not a huge craft cocktail drinker because normally when I go to a bar, I'm probably just drinking whiskey, neat, or tequila with lime. Like that's probably all I'm going to order.
Yeah, and honestly, I used to be that way too. I've gotten more into drinking craft cocktails at different restaurants that I go to now instead of just drinking straight. Because I used to just order like whiskey neat or whiskey on the rocks or tequila neat, something like that. But I've started drinking more. My wife's actually gotten me drinking more and more cocktails.
Okay.
And it's cool when you go to a restaurant that has a good cocktail program. But anyway, yeah.
Somebody send me some recommendations of good craft cocktails. I'd love to try some. I'm always open to new stuff. I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm just saying it's my experience.
I don't like making them. I like drinking them at restaurants. The reason I like doing that out is because I don't do it at home.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, let's get to some questions here. Dustin Blanchard asked Taylor, why is Fortaleza tequila so hard to find in stores?
Well, I mean, we've got Fortaleza. Well, we had Fortaleza. During the pandemic, Fortaleza is like a really, really small, but I'm putting quotations, farm-to-table distillery in Mexico. Not a big production. During COVID, it caught fire, and not literally, but the brand caught fire. And since about middle 2021, it's just been hard to get. We get it infrequently. It's not very frequent. We get a few bottles at a time, and it's every few months. So just be on the lookout for it. It does pop up.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, if you could make one component of your job an Olympic event, what would it be and why?
One component of my job. Oh, my God, dealing with customers every day, man. It's tough.
Why would
Sometimes it's tough just dealing with the general public, and it's a special talent that you have to have just to be able to do it. And I don't think I'm very good at it.
You're not good at that at all.
I speak my mind, and it's just the way I am, it's the way I was raised. But I don't know. That's such a crazy, weird question.
I interpreted that to mean, like, what's the thing that you would want to do, like, competitively? Like, what if you got to sample whiskey all day? Like, that would be a pretty cool Olympic event.
Absolutely, for somebody that doesn't do it for a living.
I know that would be really cool. Oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, hey, I wanted to tell you, I last weekend opened a bottle of Trinchero Red 2015 from when Eric and I went to Napa last year, and you connected us there and it might have been the best bottle of wine I've ever had in my life. I didn't even remember it being that awesome, but it was magnificent. So can you get me any Trinchero 2015 Trinchero Red?
I don't know. I can try, though, man. And that winery is so cool. For anybody that's listening,
Really
if you go to Napa, go to Trinchero.
Really,
in one of
really
the bathrooms, they have a history of baseball catcher's mask. It's really cool. I remember that.
That whole experience at Trinchero was awesome. Would highly 10 out of 10 recommend for anybody that goes. All right, we got to go. Enjoy the rest of your vacay. Thank you.
All right, Matt. See you, man.
All right, that's Taylor Calandro. This is After Further Review. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Evermore. I was doing morning scone today, and there was a gentleman who popped on in the comments and said, hey, Matt, ever since I started buying my wife Evermore, I've had Evermore in the house, she doesn't drink soft drinks anymore. Like, she hasn't had one in 4 months, he said. Now, I'm not telling you that this is like any type of guarantee that it does. What I'm telling you is, if you go read a lot of reviews, like go to Google, punch in Evermore, EVAMOR, and read some of the reviews, you'll hear some pretty astonishing stories like that from people. And it actually really makes sense, because when you're talking about Evermore, it is natural artesian water. It is from Mother Earth. It is nothing added, nothing taken away. There's no minerals added for flavor. Go read, you think water's water. Go read the labels on water and see what you're actually drinking. With Evermore, it's a Louisiana product from a natural artesian well. It's a healthier option, and it tastes great. Evermore.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The U.S. men's Olympic basketball team beats South Sudan 103-86. Kevin Durant off the bench, 14 points, 3 steals. Team USA faces Puerto Rico in the quarterfinals Saturday. Katie Ledecky won the 1,500-meter freestyle for her 8th career Olympic gold medal. Jackson Holliday, baseball's top prospect, back in the majors with a bang. He hit a 5th-inning grand slam, his first career home run. Orioles defeated the Blue Jays 10-4. Yankees completed the sweep of the Phillies 6-5. DJ LeMahieu, who has been in a season-long slump, drove in 6 runs with a grand slam and a 2-run double. Manager Aaron Boone.
Obviously today, gets the lefty there for the grand slam, and then gets into a deep count with the righty there and drives it in the gap the other way. And then even, thought he put a good pass on the last ball off Estevez where he hit the ball sharp to third. So really excited for him.
Cavaliers center Jared Allen's agreed to a 3-year, $91 million max extension, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, third key Cavs player to sign a massive extension this summer.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you which quarterback coming off an injury I have the most confidence in. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Former Tiger great Brandon Taylor in 15 minutes. Ross Jackson, 1 hour from right now. He'll join us from Irvine, as he's been good enough to do every day since the Saints opened camp. Speaking of the Saints, Day 7 out in Irvine for the New Orleans Saints on Wednesday. And after a nice day on Tuesday and Day 6, Dennis Allen not as pleased here on Wednesday.
Third day in a row in pads, so I thought, practice was a little bit chippy today, which, isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think our guys are competing. And I think the execution, overall was as good as we needed it to be today. But, that's kind of to be expected a little bit throughout training camp. You're going to have some of these days. And so how do we respond? We'll have a day off tomorrow. How do we respond and come back and have a good practice on Friday? I still think we got some things accomplished. I just don't think it was quite as clean as what I would have liked for it to be.
Understandable. Not every day is great. And by the time you go this many consecutive days, and especially 3 consecutive days in pads, the day off on Thursday, I think, is going to do this team well. And, of course, they don't play a preseason game until next weekend when they open up the preseason. So that'll give us a much better sense of how they're doing. There was a notable absence with Demario Davis, and DA was asked about that after and kind of disclosed some not great news.
Part of it, he also pulled up with a little bit of a hamstring on one of those one-on-one drills. So we had 2 guys, Tommy Hudson and Demario, that left practice with hamstrings.
Aside from his productivity, the most amazing part of Demario Davis's run with the New Orleans Saints has been his availability. Forgive me, not just with the Saints, literally in his entire career. His first 4 seasons with the Jets, never missed a game. Went to Cleveland in 2016, played all 16. 2017, back with the Jets, played in every game. And in his time with New Orleans, he missed 1 game in 2021 because of COVID, if I'm not mistaken. He's, in his career, has never missed a game due to injury, which is, at that position, as physical as he plays, now into his middle 30s, is a staggering thought. So I'm not super worried about Demario Davis tweaking a hamstring. Really just want to see what it looks like whenever the Saints open up against Carolina in week 1. But it does continue that streak of every day in practice so far, some notable player has left with an injury. Also of note, I saw Nick Underhill over at New Orleans Football did tweet a photo of Marshawn Lattimore, who was out at practice today, not in pads, just in sweats, watching, but was there with the team. So day 7, this also brought the first opportunity for the media in camp to hear from offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. And 7 days in, I think it's interesting as we look at the offense here. When do you start to see things come together and manifest? For all of us, we have a very layman's eye. We watch a lot of football, but still, we don't know the play that's called. We don't know what they're trying to achieve on every rep and every practice. Clint Kubiak does, and he's done this for a long time. So he was kind of asked, when in camp would you actually start to notice if the offense is coming together how you want it to?
Well, I think it's stupid to say, but when we line up against Carolina, we want to see where we're at. We want to be at our best in that first game. I think that we're really demanding of these guys, and we expect it to look right the first time. Is it going to be perfect? No, but that's what we expect as coaches, and we're trying to be really detailed as coaches and be hard on the guys. I am pleased with our progress. We're heading in the right direction.
Pleased with progress. You know what? When he started that answer and he was saying, it'll sound stupid, but we'll know against Carolina, I don't think that's stupid. I actually find that kind of refreshing because this is the time of the year where optimism abounds for everybody. And I'm not saying be pessimistic. I'm not saying tell us you're going to stink. But being realistic about where you are, I think is fair. So, the challenging part is always whenever you are so open and vocal about how good you think a player or a side of the ball is going to be, and it doesn't work out that way, that always ends up coming back to bite you. So I can actually really respect the candor there from Clint Kubiak. Now, he was asked more specifically about the players understanding and picking up the offense.
That's critical, That's what we harp on every day in meetings. That's what we're teaching. And, I think our guys have done a good job of understanding that. And, that's our job as coaches, to make it look the same, make them understand what we're trying to do. But it's on our players to go beat man coverage and go get open. So they have to know that it's not all scheme. Okay, you got to go win. So it's a two-way street.
Okay, he also, and this is Clint Kubiak, Saints offensive coordinator, after practice on Wednesday, he was asked specifically about some of the players, notably, of course, the 2 tackles, Fuanga and Trevor Penning. Let's start with Taliese Fuanga. Here was Clint Kubiak on his early impressions of the left tackle.
I'm impressed with Tally. The guy is all football. He doesn't say a word. He works hard. He's hard on himself, very similar to the way I described Derek Carr. So I'm pleased with where he's at. He's the kind of guy we want to be the culture that we want to have. We just got to keep getting him better.
I love that. All ball. Talking to Mike Detillier for so many years on the show, one of the things Mike D always just hammered into my head over and over again around draft time was you never know how money will change a guy. When they're drafted and they get that signing bonus, does it change their work ethic? Does it change who they are? Does it change how they interact with teammates or coaches or family? Does it change priorities? Do they start spending carelessly? Do they start going out? How does money change you? Well, you can tell pretty clearly with Taliesin Fuanga, he's answered that to the affirmative. I mean, it is all ball. He just wants to keep getting better, and that's awesome. For him, it really feels like it's one of those, like when the Saints made that pick, we all looked at it and were like, if that guy stays healthy, he's going to play in the NFL for a long time because he checks all the boxes. And so that's, if whether he becomes an all-pro left tackle or just a really good player, we'll all wait and see how that transpires. But he checks so many of those boxes. The other side is sort of the other side of the coin. Trevor Penning, who was a first-round pick, as we well know, we all know the story by now, but he's moving to right tackle. And here was Clint Kubiak on Penning.
More of the same. From the start, Trevor's been buying into everything. We've coached him. We've been really pleased with him. And just up front, there's a lot of great leadership there. It starts with Eric McCoy, and guys follow Eric's lead, and Trevor is off to a good start.
I love the buy-in. I think that's massive, especially with the new coaching staff. I'd be way more concerned if you had guys that were not bought in, that were late, that were needing to be disciplined. Like, that doesn't appear like. For so many years, Sean Payton stressed culture in this organization. And one of the reasons when the Saints hired Dennis Allen, that I was good with them hiring Dennis Allen, was you weren't, in effect, maintaining that culture that they worked so hard to build. Because DA was part of that. And I've said for a long time, Allen is a great defensive coach, and there's no debating that. He's been a great defensive coach in this league for a long time. So you have the right guys. I don't doubt that at all. I think you have buy-in and you have leaders and you have all that. What I question is, do you have enough talented guys? And I don't know the answer. Like, I believe Trevor Penning is working really hard and wants to be a good starting offensive lineman for this franchise. I just don't know if he's physically able to do that. I don't know if you have enough starting offensive linemen. I don't know if your quarterback, who's a good man, very clearly, good teammate, all that stuff. I don't know if he's a good enough quarterback to lead you to wins. I don't know if your defense which keeps aging, is talented enough at all the spots to be a championship caliber defense. I mean, Clint Kubiak said it himself. Scheme can only take you so far. Eventually, players have to go make plays. And this camp, a lot of it, especially on the offensive side, is going to be figuring out if they have the guys to do that. Early returns seem pretty good, but as Clint Kubiak said, we'll find out really week one when they play Carolina. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned. In Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Man, yesterday, or Monday, I should say, when I was driving to Houston and back on Tuesday, was in my Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport, great on the open road. I mean, it's all the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, grips the road, the safety features, all the technology. You got the big LED display across the entire dash, Apple CarPlay, every bit of technology you would imagine. Fun to drive, and you got to love the price tag as well. Great deals right now with the summer sales event going on over at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Because they move more inventory than anyone, they can give you a better deal than anyone. Remember, if you're a college student, always $500 off any purchase price for college students at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, we will go out to Irvine to start hour 3. Ross Jackson will be here in 48 minutes from right now. What did he see as the Saints wrapped up day 7? We'll get to all of that. Because we had Taylor last hour, we missed the Olympic update. We'll get to that here in about 15 minutes from right now. Some new technology coming to the NFL. We got a ton to do. More from Brian Kelly, who was at the Rotary Club Baton Rouge today on the eve of LSU opening up fall camp. Speaking of LSU opening up fall camp, former LSU great Brandon Taylor, who you hear him on the LSU Sports Radio Network, he joins us next. We'll talk a little bit about trying to remake that defense, which struggled so mightily a year ago, and how they go about doing it here in 2024. Brandon Taylor joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Since 1982, our friends over at Action Industries have been serving the 30-some-odd plants up and down the river. If you're a maintenance manager or turnaround coordinator, you need to know the name if you don't already. Action Industries, a great Louisiana company that has grown mostly because they know themselves, they know who they are at Action Industries. If you have that 100-man job and you've hired one of those mega contractors and you don't feel like you're getting the attention you deserve, you need to call Action Industries because they're never going to go bid on that $200 million job. That's not them. They know what they are. If you got that 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. You get their undivided attention. You get all their best people. It's Action Industries. On top of that, remember, they also offer fabrication shop services, pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels. Not everybody does that. They do over at Action Industries. They're a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Action, INDINC.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Offensively, defensively, special teams, all together, this will be a better football team on balance, and in this league, you better be. It's an incredibly deep league in the SEC, and a schedule, as you know, that we start off in Las Vegas.
Brian Kelly at the Rotary Club on Wednesday as LSU reports for camp. They'll hit the practice field for the first time on Thursday. Good chance to catch up with former Tiger safety Brandon Taylor. Of course, part of that great 2011 defense with the Tigers, a third-round pick of the Chargers, and remember the LSU Sports Radio Network now. BT, good to chat with you, man. How are you?
What's going on, man? I'm doing great, man. How's everything on your end?
Doing great. Excited for some football like everybody, but I think everybody also has this question about the defense and how much better they can be. I want to tap into your experience a little, Brandon, because you were a freshman in 2008. For those that remember, the 2008 defense had a lot of struggles that year. And then John Chavis came in 2009, so it was a change of a defensive coordinator, and the ship really got steadied. Can you remember what it was like, Brandon, that offseason between 2008 and 2009, making the change defensive coordinator, new scheme, new terminology, and trying to get that thing back right? What was that like?
It was basically a breath of fresh air because everybody started with a clean blank slate, and coaches, they had no prejudgment on any player. They took the time to not even watch old film on players. Like what you put in was what you got out. So we started out day one. It was all about the mentality that we wanted to create, and it starts there mentally. John Chavis was a big mental guy, and if you wasn't bought into his process, you were not going to see the field. And he held you accountable in that regard. And the leaders on that team and the leaders on his defenses, that bled down to the younger players. So if you can have the coach with that mindset, and then it bleeds down to the leadership, it'll just fall in place. But you just got to have a nasty mentality as a defense.
From as best you can tell, Brandon, what have been your impressions of Blake Baker so far?
I think he's a high-energy guy, a young coach. So he's going to bring a different aspect as far as he can change with the waves, and hopefully he can adapt to the new offense, new styles of offense, because it's completely different from when I played, which I think the defense that I played on, we was ahead of our time as far as like the style of players that we had and the size of players that we had. And I just think that what he did at Missouri, which was a damn good job, and a lot of people didn't think that was possible. I think that he can, with the caliber players that he'll have at LSU and that he can recruit at LSU, I think that he'll bring the type of mentality that gets us back on track as far as the LSU defense.
Hey, Brandon, what do you mean when you said you felt like you all were ahead of your time back then? What did you mean by that?
So whenever you got time, just pull up the depth chart and look at the size of our DBs and the size of our linebackers. John Chavis, he took a gamble. He moved safeties to linebacker and corners to safety, and moved outside linebackers to DN before anybody done that. Nobody was doing that. We was the first defense to have 220-pound linebackers and 100. I was 190 pounds at safety, 5'11". But I could run and I loved to tackle, and I knew how to communicate. He took a gamble with that, and it paid off dividends, and now you see it across the board, even in the NFL. Players are making changes, position changes, better fit to their body type.
No doubt, man. It's funny you mentioned that. Earlier today, we were talking about this kid LSU that his name's Jaden Breaker, is a linebacker from Georgia that LSU just flipped from South Carolina. And he's 6'3", 210. And I was like, man, that feels like a throwback to Taj Jones and Lamine Barrow and guys like that. And I hate to call it a throwback, but kind of does feel a little bit like that when you've seen guys like Devin White and Kendall Beckwith and dudes like that roll through here, of late. But yeah, man, I mean, it does kind of feel a little bit like that. When you look at the personnel on this defense, Brandon, like, do you see enough, like, just ability there for them to be a really great defense again?
I do. It's because I get where you coming from with it, with his size, and a lot of people look at it that way, but you want players on the field that can cover as much ground as quickly as possible. So you want somebody that's quick, fast, can get there with aggression and just wreak havoc. And right now the game is changing from more of a physical style game to like a more finesse. You got to be fast. You have to be fast on defense because these offensive players and the schemes that they're running, they're just blowing by people, and you don't have the advantage as a defensive player to put your hands on them and control them like we used to back in the day. I could jam somebody up and go sit him by his coach and not get a flag. Nowadays, you can't touch him. You can't touch him, so you have to have speed on the field. So you're not going to see these big, stocky linebackers like Kelvin Shepard like you used to see back in the day. Like, you have to be able to run. You may get a freak of nature like a Devin White that can go out there and run a 4.3, but that's every 10 years you find a player like that.
Yeah, there was a reason
so
he was the fifth pick of the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to recruit a certain style and finesse, but as a coach, you have to get them aligned in and get them all on the same accord and let them know, like, it got to be applied in the off season before anything. Like, you can't click it on the game day. Like, you have to have the mentality like, look, it's me versus this person, and I'm not going to lose. No pouting, no pointing the finger, none of that.
Brandon Taylor's our guest, former LSU safety, 3-year starter. Guy was a senior on that great 2011 defense. But now you hear him on the LSU Sports Radio Network. I know this has been talked about so much, Brandon, but I'm curious your thought about the idea of moving Harold Perkins back inside and how you think that might go this year.
I think it'll go well. They just going to have to take the time with him and put in the extra work, because I know a lot of people are mad at it, but this is the norm at LSU. A lot of players have switched positions, and it's always turned out. Look at Barkevius Mingo. He was a stand-up outside linebacker. They moved him to DN, and look at the numbers he done. It's one of them things where you got to be you got to be able to adjust and overcome. That don't mean that he's going to stay in the inside. They can move him around. You just can't be predictable with it. And I think that's what Coach Baker's trying to do. He's trying to take the being predictive about, and because the thing is, wherever he's at, they're going to have to scheme against him. So I would rather them have to scheme against him in the inside and the outside than just being on the outside, because you could take him out of the game if you just leave him in one spot.
I want to ask about the secondary, and I saw this earlier today, BT. It's crazy. The Thorpe Award watch list came out, right, which goes to the best defensive back in college football, and there's 50 names on it, and there's not one guy from LSU on that list. Tell me why I should think this secondary is going to be better than they were a year ago.
Accountability. Because Raymond recruits to replace. Because when I came there my freshman year, he was the assistant DB coach. And I know people are the godfather of DBUs out of the godfather of DBU is Corey Webster, Jesse Daniels, LaRon Landry. Those are the godfathers of DBU. And that's not a coach. That was a mentality, and that was brought in by players only. Yeah, you had certain coaches that coach those players, but the 03 DBs, that's DBU. So you got Corey Raymond, who's been around all those group of guys, and he's going to bring in the mentality that everybody can be replaced. And I'm recruiting to replace you, whether you like it or not. And that's what's going to hold kids accountable, not just giving them anything. Raymond's played in the NFL, which is a cutthroat business. It's a what have you done for me lately business, and that's what college football needs to be, and that's what LSU needs to get back to being, because the reason I played so hard, because I had a Craig Lawson behind me. I had a Ronald Martin behind me. Craig Lawson was the best thing since sliced bread coming out of high school. When he was a 5-star recruit at safety. Coach Coop kept throwing it in my face at practice. Brandon, I'm bringing somebody in to replace you. I said, I better be put in the dirt. Yeah, I better have a funeral next week, because I'm not walking out this field and nobody taking my spot. And you got to have that mentality. You just can't give it to anybody just because they've been there or anything like that. You got to recruit to replace, and that's the type of mentality that Raymond brings into that room, and he's going to hold everybody accountable. If you're not fit for the job, you're not fit for the job. You got to look in the mirror at that point. It's not me as a coach.
Brandon, how much of the gap can be filled from accountability as you said, and looking over your shoulder, right? When that and the talent gap, meaning I can look at NFL scouting reports for next year, and there's no LSU DBs on it. So if you don't have if you're not built like Patrick Peterson, right? How much of that gap can be filled by the intangibles you just talked about?
So that, with being said, the right that they thought that people think that they have, this go to LSU fans, this go to you, Matt Moscona, this go to me. Just because you play DB at LSU, ain't nobody giving you shit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, you come to LSU, oh, that's DBU. No, the players that played there and got drafted into the NFL made LSU DBU, not LSU. It's a give and a take, but you got to look at the men that got drafted into the NFL that played DB at LSU. They were cut from a different cloth. So if you think you're going to come to LSU as this, I don't matter how many stars you got, because the best DB that ever came through LSU was a freaking 2-star, and that's Tyron and Mo Claiborne. And it don't matter, because you got to come in and put the work, because the guys that laid that foundation, they were about batshit crazy. All of us had a little screw loose. You guys, any coach that was around was like, we were arrogant and cocky because we knew the work that we put in, but we never said a word about it. You didn't see nothing on social media. You didn't see us talking trash to nobody until we got inside the white lines. When we got inside the white lines, it was on. Everything was on played in. But off the field, it was respect, it was hard work, it was film study, and we held people accountable. And the reason we were DBU was because if I was on the field and Craig blew a play and I knew he didn't know the play, hey, Papa, you got to get out of here. You got to get off the field. Go get yourself together. Hey, Coach Coop, get this guy in. He ain't ready. He ain't studied this week. You're not about to embarrass me and this group because of your lack of preparation that you're supposed to take upon yourself. People always, the coach didn't get him right. He this. Like, no, you a grown man. You got a playbook. Look at it. Learn it. And if a coverage is blown, you never throw your hands up in the air and you never point the finger. You address that outside the stadium, in the locker room. And nobody needs to know about it. No media, your parents, none of that. That building and your locker room is supposed to be locked tight.
Definitely got away from that a year ago, man.
Yeah, so the reason that there aren't DBs in any draft stock, because they ain't earned it yet. You got to go get it. You got to put your name on there. Look at at the film. Do anybody deserve to be on that mat? Be honest with yourself.
Of course not.
Okay. So that's where it starts. You have to be honest with yourself first. And then that's when you can build on that foundation and become a better player. Because if you just looking for somebody to give you something and this and that, and truth be told, LSU DBs are the most hated people in the NFL anyway, because people envy you. Because you everywhere. DBU everywhere. It's always a debate. When I went to San Diego, all the guys from the West Coast that played at USC and Clemson and all this, they looked at me side-eyed until we got on the field and they seen what I was about. And then I got the respect. They knew the name. But when we got on the practice field and I was out there going crazy, no matter who it was, okay, all right, he for real. And they ain't have to say a word. And that's the mentality we got to get back to. And I pray to God that Corey Raymond get back to it, which I know he can. Everybody just has to be bought in.
Start to get those answers tomorrow, man, when they hit the practice field for the first time. Brandon Taylor, you hear him on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Of course, was DB at LSU from 2008 to 2011. Hey, man, we'll have to do this again throughout the season, man. Always appreciate your time. We'll visit soon, okay?
Oh, likewise, Matt. You have a good one.
Thanks, man. Brandon Taylor. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, react to a little bit of what BT had to say there. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. As a matter of fact, AFR from the Renaissance Hotel tomorrow. I'll be over there at Tallulah. We got a really special event that I'm looking forward to telling you more about as we have a really, really big announcement, and pumped to be holding an event at the Renaissance tomorrow after AFR. So we'll be over there. So make plans to pop on in and maybe have dinner at Tallulah. Come have a craft cocktail. My guy Nathaniel over there has done a really good job building up their whiskey list as well at the bar at Tallulah. You want to come have a craft cocktail, a glass of whiskey, a glass of wine, have dinner at Tallulah. Come hang out with us tomorrow at the Renaissance Hotel. Again, AFR from 3 to 6 tomorrow at Tallulah inside the Renaissance. We'll have a little event afterwards that I'm really excited to be able to make a big announcement and tell you more about. And, glad to be bringing it over to Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel. Right there on Bluebonnet, across from Perkins Row in the mall. You know where it is. We'll be at Tallulah tomorrow for AFR inside the Renaissance Hotel.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
And thanks again to Brandon Taylor. That was awesome. Really enjoyed the convo, and you can feel his passion, man. Guys that play for this program, that played on the defensive side of the ball when they were elite. It hurts those guys to watch it deteriorate to what it was. Yeah, I really wonder though. Everything Brandon said about the accountability, the intangibles, getting in your playbook, all those controllables. You can do all those things right. But if you don't have guys that are amazingly gifted players, you're not going to be that 2011 defense. So what is that? That's my question is, what is the gap? All right, let's say Corey Raymond gets full buy-in in that secondary. Everybody's bought in and pulling, you're pulling the same direction. Okay, rowing in the same direction. How much better are you? That's what I think we start to get the answers to. All right. I got to do this. All right, we missed it earlier in the show because we had Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor. Muse, let's get it in here. Let's get us an Olympic update, if you could. Cue the drums and all the good horns and all that stuff. And hopefully, Muse, we're still whipping foreigners.
Yeah, let's start with the medals that have been awarded today, and we're going to start nowhere else other than Katie Ledecky. I mean, just incredible. Another gold medal in the 1,500-meter freestyle for the women's side. Her 8th Olympic gold medal in her career, and in the process today set a new Olympic record in the event with a time of 15 minutes, 30.2 seconds. There's nobody even in the shot when Katie Ledecky finishes. It's incredible.
I love those screen grabs where, like, yeah, what happened there? All right. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the shot. There it is. Where when Katie Ledecky's finished, like if you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button too, please. There's nobody else.
Nobody.
She's hanging onto the wall. There's nobody else in the shot.
At all. I'll tell you the other ones I like about it, too, are the shots where she's going the complete opposite direction as everybody else in the pool.
Yeah,
that's so good. She's basically just lapping
It's great
Olympic
perspective
athletes
on how dominant she is.
Yeah, she's incredible. Tori Husk in the pool continued her great Olympics 100-meter freestyle for the women's. Took the silver. That's after taking gold earlier in the Olympics. So her second medal, 1 gold, 1 silver. Shout out to Tori Husk. Then we had some history made as well in canoe slalom, Matt.
Oh, really?
Does that do it for you, canoe slalom?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
Is that when they go like in the rapids and they're going inside? Oh, yeah, inside the gates.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Got it.
See, I like that one a lot. U.S. took a bronze medal there, their first medal ever in the history of the event. That was for Evie Liebfrath.
That away, Edie.
Evie.
That away, Evie. That's what I said.
Evie.
Get it done.
Evie.
Get it done, Evie.
There was also a silver medal awarded to the United States in BMX cycling freestyle, because that's an Olympic sport now. So, great there.
I don't know how much I love that.
I don't. You have the X Games.
Yeah.
Like, why?
I don't want to be that guy, but yeah.
I'll be that guy. Same with skateboarding. The X Games should be the pinnacle of your sport, I think. That's just my opinion. Yeah. All right, that does it kind of for the medals. The United States sitting on 30 medals right now. That is leading the competition. Up to 5 golds. Still have some work to do. They trail China by 4 gold medals, but there are other events. What's that?
I don't love that at all.
I know you don't love that. I don't love that either. I don't think many people do.
We need to be whipping foreigners and everything.
Well, one team that's poised to potentially get a gold medal, Matt.
Okay.
That's the U.S. women's national team.
Love that.
They completed pool play today, defeat Australia 2-1.
This is the rugby?
No, this is soccer.
Oh.
Soccer, U.S. women's national team
Love
soccer.
that. Let's go.
9.
See, our women are so good in soccer and our men stink.
The men made the knockout round.
What does that even mean?
They advanced out of pool. They could. Probably won't, but they could.
They could. And I could wake up tomorrow and have a full head of hair. Probably won't, but I could.
I guess you could. I don't know if you could do that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some genetics in there.
All things are possible.
A wig? Huh? Maybe. I don't know.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Anyway.
Philippians 4:16. It was on the outfield wall at Catholic High in baseball.
Anyway.
I don't think it really applies here.
It doesn't. I don't think so at all. The U.S. women, they scored the most goals in their history in pool play. 9 goals over 3 games in pool play.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I said you're going to like that.
That's domination.
They're playing well.
That's what I need for the red, white, and blue.
They're playing well. And then the team of Hughes and Chang defeated France in beach volleyball. That's the other team. Hughes and Chang. Straight sets, a sweep, 2-0. The United States men's basketball team absolutely just hammered South Sudan
Take
today.
that, South Sudan.
After a really close call, man.
You were all fired up about your little exhibition close call. All that took was LeBron, like with 1 Euro step, scored on you in that exhibition to say, hey, go sit down. And then we played for real. We beat you by a bajillion.
Yeah, I'm
Take that,
getting the
South
final
Sudan.
score for you right here.
It was a bajillion.
I don't think it wasn't a bajillion.
Let's count it as a bajillion.
They did put up 100. 103-86.
Got him.
Your final score there. Unfortunately, when it comes to 3-on-3 basketball, it was a really rough day. The women lost. And so, unfortunately, did the men.
Yeah, I don't really care what the score was. I just want to talk about men's 3-on-3 so we can play Teach Me How to Jimmer.
Here it is.
Crank that up, man. I told you had to fast forward like far into this. Oh, there it is.
I did.
So good.
1917. They lost to Poland.
I don't know how the scoring works in 3-on-3. I saw there's like 1-point baskets, and it's not like typical basketball scoring. They lost to Serbia yesterday, 22-14.
Yeah.
Apparently that was a blowout. I don't even know how that works, but I'm just fired up that Jimmer Fredette's playing, so we can play Teach Me How to Jimmer. Shout out Throwback.
Shout out Throwback.
And then also, we were watching the game in here a little bit ago, and sure enough, it was Canyon Barry playing on 3-on-3 as well. I looked it up. So Canyon Barry, I can say Barry. Canyon Barry. B-A-R-R-Y.
Barry.
Canyon Barry. Barry. That's Rick Barry's son, who I think played at Charleston. You can check me. You can fact check me here. Canyon, like Grand Canyon. Canyon Barry, B-A-R-R-Y. I'm almost positive he played at Charleston because LSU played against him when he was in college.
College of Charleston and Florida.
Okay, that's right. He transferred to Florida.
He transferred to Florida.
But he shoots free throws underhand. Like his dad, Rick Barry. Hey, Chuck, it's your cousin Marvin. Marvin Barry.
That's good.
Not Barry.
That's a good
you
reference,
know that sound you're looking for? Listen to this. There are people under the age of 40 right now who have no idea what I'm talking
That is so disappointing.
I know.
Watch Back to the Future.
Muse, you shouldn't be talking there, friend. You never heard of 311. You didn't know Pete Sampras was.
Okay, that's just...
Listen to that. Listen to this. Crank that up, Muse. I mean, of all the remixes, you know what I mean? If you're going to sample something and make your own, like, Weird Al version, Teach Me How to Jimmer is pretty fire.
It's up there because a lot of them are just really bad. What was the Murray State one?
The Murray State Racers? No, that was great. Welcome to Racer Hoops. That was really good.
I don't know. It's pretty bad.
They weren't sampling anything. They just made their own song.
That's true.
I kind of want to let this play for the rest of the show. Got to remind you about Parish Restoration. Let that go. Go to parishbuilt.com, hit the restoration tab. Got mold. How about this? Jimmer coming in, draining threes, ice cold, the ice melts, and then he's on fire, draining threes, brings in the heat with the water, creates mold. How you like that, Muse?
Yeah, I like it.
Got mold, don't even know it.
Like it a lot.
Jimmer came in. Jimmer Fredette, nothing but net. You know what you need? You need Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. Jimmer's so hot, it's on fire. You start sweating, you get that sweat odor in your home. How about that?
Yeah, because he's just dominating.
You like that one?
I like it.
Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, sanitize. Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. Oh, crank that up a little more. Here comes the red and blue.
Well, he's a guy in Utah gear, too. He's not even in BYU stuff.
So good. I mean, they really did a good job.
Yeah.
Remember the awful Padres fan song a few years ago?
Oh, God,
I don't
please.
want to say it.
Oh, please,
I
no.
won't, because T-Bob did it every game for the whiskey.
I think this is the end of the song.
Oh, okay, yeah. There was "Come On Marlins, Make Us Proud" that Scott Stapp did.
That's
there
fantastic.
Was that was terrible.
No, that was awesome.
That's awesome because it's terrible. Like, that's awesome because it's terrible. Teach Me How to Jimmer is actually awesome because it's actually awesome. T-Pain did the Miami Dolphins song as well.
I forgot about that.
The fan anthem. I'm telling you, there was a period there, like 10, 11, 12, 2010, 11, 12, where like there were just a bunch of fan anthems, and it had a moment. But Teach Me How to Jimmer was actually a good one. All right, it's after further review. Ross Jackson in 12 minutes. Stay here at AFR.
AFR.
Value Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Value Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Value Ford is going to do right by you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso, Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Let's start with the business side of things before we get into the actual games. Adam Schefter reports earlier today the New England Patriots and standout defensive tackle Devon Gottschall have reached an agreement on a 2-year extension. The extension's worth of $21 million, including $16.5 million guaranteed. So Gottschall had a great run with New England. That'll continue for at least 2 more seasons. On the basketball floor, how about this? A trio of former Tigers finding new homes. We'll start with Hunter Dean. Hunter Dean signing with a Slovakian league with the team BC Previzda. This is what we're going to go with there. He's going to go play in Slovakia. I think I nailed it. I like it a lot there. So shout out to Hunter Dean. Will Baker. How about Will Baker? He's heading to Belgium. Going to play with Windrose Antwerp Giants in the BNXT League. So
is he related to Ray Baker?
No. Maybe distant cousin.
You don't remember the Ray Baker reference? That was Ed Ogeron called the
son, Ray Baker. Yeah, I got you. I got you. And then lastly, Jarrell Martin. Remember Jarrell Martin? Signed a 1-year deal with the Adelaide 36ers. That's according to ESPN. 6'10" big man. He won a title with the Sydney Kings in 2022. So he'll be back there in Australia.
Former Memphis Grizzly.
Jarrell Martin as well, yes. Aaron Nola was on the bump last night. 5 2/3, 2 earned runs, struck out 4, left with the lead.
Love to hear it.
Left with the lead.
Love to hear it.
Then Matt Strahm blew a save.
Love to hear it.
And the Yankees got the victory.
Love to hear it.
DJ LeMahieu didn't do much in that ball game. Didn't do much in that ball game last night. Only came in to pinch hit. But today.
Oh, man.
DJ made up for just about the entire season slump today.
He busted out in a big way today, friend.
Did. 2 for 4. Both of them homers. One of them a grand slam. 6 RBI.
By the way, in the Yankees tweet with DJ hitting the grand slam, the tweet was "Go DJ, that's my DJ."
As it should be. As it should be. Pardon me, I said 2 home runs. The other hit was a double. My mistake there. But the grand slam and then a double on the year for DJ. That's Tigers in the Pros.
It's after further review. Oh, by the way, presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Gentlemen, thinking of popping the question? It's easy. Go where Louisianans have got to get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience and a gorgeous diamond sure to thrill her. Give her a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, Sports Center. Get you caught up on national headlines. Then we're heading out to Irvine, California. Saints Camp Report with Ross Jackson is next.
AFR.
We'll take 60 seconds and remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. And more so what I want to do is take these 60 seconds to be that push, to be that maybe not so gentle nudge, to call the Williamson Eye Center to schedule that free, no obligation consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. You've heard me talk about LASIK and PRK. You've heard me talk about the custom lens replacement and all of the different things from a refractive procedure perspective that the Williamson Eye Center offers. It'll change your life. I know because I'm in that number. You've heard me tell my story for years now. I was one that was always told, maybe not a great candidate for LASIK, was afraid of the laser, all that stuff. One meeting with Dr. Blake Williamson changed my entire perspective, and it's one of the best decisions I ever could have made. Just go for the consultation. Call today. 924-2020.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system. in the nation.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas de asientos. El totalmente nuevo Infinity QX80 de 3 filas.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. It's on to the quarterfinals of the Paris Olympics for the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team. They beat South Sudan 103-86, 14 points off the bench for Kevin Durant. Team USA plays Puerto Rico Saturday. Katie Ledecky won her 8th career Olympic gold medal in the 1,500-meter freestyle. Baseball's top prospect, Orioles infielder Jackson Holliday, called up today, hit his first big league home run, a grand slam. Baltimore beat Toronto 10-4. DJ LeMahieu, 6 RBI. Yankees completed the sweep of the Phillies 6-5. The animated discussions at Jets training camp between quarterback Aaron Rodgers and receiver Garrett Wilson that blew up on social media weren't what they seemed, according to Rodgers. Wilson today also downplayed the incidents.
Both like-minded. You know, we're trying to figure out a way to attack our defense, and he'll tell me why he needed me at this depth. You know, I'll play receiver, so I'm like, man, I was open here. You know, that's just how I am.
Jets receiver Garrett Wilson. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Cavaliers center Jared Allen agreed on a 3-year, $91 million max extension. Third key Cavs player to sign a mega deal this summer.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your car, home, motorcycle, commercial auto, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Saints Day 7 out in Irvine, California. Our buddy Ross Jackson, Locked on Saints, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes, as he has each day throughout camp. Give us our camp report. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy. Doing great. Glad to be here.
Hey, I want to start after noticing Demario Davis go off today with injury as well at the hamstring. Feels like every day there's been somebody, and it's somebody of significance, from Davis, Brazil, Lattimore, Kamara, Olave, Saldiveri. Give me a flyover, if you would, Ross, on the injuries and what, if any, of them should we be concerned about at this point?
Yeah, I think as of right now, the biggest ones that you're watching. Look, Chris Olave was back at practice today. He participated in everything, so he should be all good.
Good.
The biggest ones that you're really watching right now are Marshawn Lattimore. He made his first appearance today to say something positive there. He did make his first appearance today. He was some sweats off the side, but I think you're still watching that one. He's kind of going through a rehab process for his injury and things like that. And so, this is kind of this hip flexor injury, which could be, any number of different things in terms of what the timelines could be on that and all these other pieces. So that's definitely a big one to watch. I think the Demario one's a big one to watch as well. I mean, a hamstring injury, we've seen how long that's already kept Kendre Miller out, which he's basically been out since the second week of practices. So something to watch for there for sure. Saldiveri, who's dealing with a calf injury, which is a repeat injury for him, so definitely something there. I find this all very concerning, if I'm being fully honest. And you know me, I'm not the alarmist by any means.
Sure.
But this just feels like a strange thing that's going on, to where, I mean, in injury every single day. It's been 7 days in a row where we've seen this, and it just feels like really, really bad luck for New Orleans. And I think if this is what it looks like in training camp, it makes sense to be concerned about what it's going to look like when these guys are actually going full speed. And so I think those are the biggest ones you're going to be paying attention to: Marshall Lattimore, Demario Davis, Nick Saldiveri for sure. But this just feels like something that is maybe worth, or at least warrants, a little bit more concern than maybe many are expecting that it should.
Okay. And we still got a month before the Saints take the field against Carolina. So a time to get this right. But you're right. I mean, that's why you asked the question, Ross. It's like it's 7 consecutive. It's like every day.
Right.
It's somebody. Is there something with the training protocol? Is it just bad luck? It's something we're definitely gonna have to keep watching. I noticed you also pointed out today. It looked like the defensive line maybe had a really good day. How much of that was defensive line playing well? How much of that is maybe validating some of the concerns about the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that this defensive line has been making some really good plays. I mean, there's a big difference between, beating an offensive lineman and actually making the play, right? And so I think that there's been some good displays of the defensive line doing what it is that it needs to do. But I understand 100%, and I myself would say, like, if the Saints needed to field an offensive line this weekend, I'd be severely concerned about that offensive line. If they needed to field an offensive line this weekend, then I'd be really concerned about that line. And now, thankfully, they don't have to. Right. So it doesn't have to be as big of a concern. But it's still something that's clearly coming together for this team. And I think some of it, too, Dennis Allen kind of explained that the offense has installed a limited amount of its offense so far. And so the defense is doing a good job now being able to anticipate what's coming because they've seen all of it multiple times. And so some of that might be leading to it. But even with that being the case, you'd still like to see your offense and your offensive line be able to execute blocks, right? Like there's a big difference between, they knew that the play was coming and, this guy beat that guy again. And so I think that those are the things that make me feel a little bit still concerned about the offensive line at this time.
Ross Jackson's with us, Locked On Saints. Make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast app. They're on YouTube as well. He's out in Irvine giving us our Saints camp reports every day. Anything from Clint Kubiak catch your ear today when you were listening to him after practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with Clint is that he's got a very clear understanding of the way that he wants this offense to run. The one thing that I wish that would have gotten in that I would like to hear a little bit more about from him is he kind of touched on like the builds of the wide receivers and things like that. And I'm really curious about what it is that led to their current construction of their wide receiver room, because it's not the quintessential wide receiver room where you have the big outside possession guy complemented by the speed guy over on the opposite side and all that. And so I'm curious about, where their sort of looking at the pieces falling together when it comes to building up that wide receiver room. So that's something I'd like to hear a little bit more about with him. But the thing about Clint Kubiak is that he does a really good job of showing you stuff on the field and then keeping everything very understated when it comes to his press conferences and things like that. So I think that still seeing sort of his clear vision for what he wants his offense to be able to do, the uses of play action, things like that were some of the things that stood out.
What about the quarterbacks, man? I know the backup job will probably start to get a better feel for that whenever they actually start preseason games. But any takeaways so far with Rattler and Haener?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be honest. I think that the kind of battle that we expected between them has underwhelmed a little bit. Neither of these guys have really separated from one another, and neither of them have really moved themselves forward in a lot of different ways. We're seeing fumbled snaps. We've seen, a couple of interceptions thrown, things like that, of course. But those are all things that come with training camp. But for every big play that Haener makes, Rattler makes. For every big play that Rattler makes, Haener makes. For every bad play that each makes, the other one has a bad play. It all feels very even when it comes to the two of them. So I think that for the Saints, though, that's probably a good thing for them, that there's not one of these two quarterbacks that they've invested time in separating themselves wildly from the other. And so they get the good, grace of being able to see, how do these guys operate in the meeting room? How do they operate in the film room? How do they operate, in terms of their communication and the huddle and all these other things? To where those things will be the ones that end up kind of driving that competition a little bit further, as well as, of course, the preseason. But I will say that both of these quarterbacks, they're talented quarterbacks. They're quarterbacks that I think could run this system. They're not necessarily showing me anything right now, though, to where I'd say either one of these guys is a quarterback that you'd want to see coming into a game in place of Derek Carr in 2024, at least up until this point.
What's the plan for the day off on Thursday?
Plan for the day off for me is to continue to generate more sweet content. So lots of written work, lots of podcast, breakdowns and things like that in terms of what we're seeing. I want to go through and just look specifically at one-on-ones that we've seen so far between wide receivers and offensive linemen and kind of break down all the percentages there. We had a day the other day where Chris Olave went 3 of 3 on his one-of-ones. Today, he went 1 of 4 going up against Alontae Taylor, who iced him out for 3 straight one-on-one reps. I thought Alontae Taylor had a magnificent day today, by the way. I thought he was awesome, and I think he's going to be a very different player in 2024 than what we saw in 2023 based on his confidence level alone here throughout training camp. So leaning in on some more things like that and making sure everybody's got what they need. And then outside of that, of course, Matt, sleep, some rest.
What's the team going to be doing with their day off? They get like a water park day or anything fun like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to dig around and see if I could find out what they've got going on. But I know that I know of a couple of units that are going to be spending some time together tonight as well. So this is the nice thing about about this whole having camp outside of town thing. It's not great for the fans who unfortunately aren't able to be here to see it, but for the team, when they're not here at the facility, they're somewhere, but they're together and they're still kind of like bonding and building camaraderie and things like that. So I know of some plans of things that begin this evening. I'm not exactly sure what's going on for them tomorrow, but you're going to be able to see a lot of this kind of camaraderie continue to build between all these guys.
Ross Jackson, he's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Y'all give him a follow. Locked on Saints. We appreciate it, man. We'll talk with you on Friday.
That sounds good. I appreciate you, buddy. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Be well. Ross Jackson out there in Irvine doing great work. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. You know where to find them. Locations all over South Louisiana. And I always encourage you to get to the website as well, primarily because when you go to the website at ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, at the top of the page, you're going to see the Promotions tab. Always encourage you, because you hear me say this. Name brand tires, wholesale prices. They'll sell you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. Hit the Promotions tab, and you can see all the different offers that they have currently. And remember, at Shawbills, if you buy tires at Shawbills, and then you find them advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. Part of the Charlie's Dozen, a dozen benefits to buying your tires over at Shawbills. So go to ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, hit the Promotions tab at the top to learn more. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, appreciate Ross for being with us, man. As I mentioned, Saints have the day off tomorrow, so Ross will be back with us on Friday. He'll give us our reports whenever the Saints are practicing, so we'll take the day off tomorrow with Ross, and he'll be back with us on Friday. LSU, meanwhile, hits the practice field for the first time on Thursday. Brian Kelly was at Rotary Wednesday and covered a lot of ground, and I do want to delve back into some of what BK had to say. And if you weren't here last hour, Brandon Taylor was with us, former All-SEC defensive back for LSU. He was the strong safety on that 2011 defense, was just awesome. He was the chirper. He was the communicator in that back end there with Eric Reed and Tyrann Mathieu and Mo Claiborne. As great as they were. And Brandon got pretty fiery with us last hour. I shouldn't say fiery, passionate. And I think you could tell for so many guys who came through this program and played defense at such an elite level and built the reputation that was that defense. I think it hurt them to watch the defense be so bad a year ago. And, I do want to talk a little bit about how they maybe start to get that back in line here in 2024. So we'll touch on that a smidge when we come back. Glad you're hanging out with us here on Hump Day edition of AFR. Don't you move.
AFR.
Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty, buying or selling commercial or residential. If you need a realtor, you need Darren James. Tell you all the time. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com. I was noticing on Darren's social earlier today, he's got his guaranteed sale billboards up around town as well. Bottom line is, if you need to sell your home, there's just nobody that's going to do it better, faster, for more money than Darren James. It's not just my opinion. Yes, I've worked with Darren. He's helped Eric and I buy 2 homes and sell a home already in our marriage. And if you're thinking about buying a home or selling your home, you want the best. The proof is in the pudding. Wall Street Journal, Real Trends list, top 1% of realtors in America. Darren James last year, number 14 in the country on number of homes sold. You need the best. You need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
More watch lists, as a watch list season is all over the place right now. And another watch list for Will Campbell. This time it was the Werfel Trophy, which goes... It's kind of a combo award, player, person on the field, off the field. Will Campbell was named a watch list, named to the watch list for the Werfel Trophy. And obviously, I think this is something that we're going to expect for Will Campbell. I mean, he was on the Outland watch list, now the Werfel Trophy, and pretty much everything an offensive lineman can be up for, he will be up for. And if he goes and has the type of season we all expect he will, he'll be a first-team All-American and a first-round draft pick and the first offensive lineman from LSU to be taken in the first round since Alan Faneca. The caveat is that Lyle Collins would have been a first-rounder in 2014, but for all the hoopla that very, very unfortunately surrounded that draft night for him. But its point is, other than Lyle, you'd have to go all the way back to Alan Faneca in 1998 to find the last time that LSU had a first-round offensive lineman, the 98 season, or the 98 draft, excuse me, that LSU had a first-round offensive lineman. And Will Campbell looking to be the first in 25 years. So, and he's worthy. And Brian Kelly, when he met with the folks at the Rotary Club of Baton Rouge on Wednesday, highlighted the offensive line, because I think we all understand that is the premier position group on this team and very likely the premier offensive line in the entire country.
Guys like Will Campbell and Emory Jones that started as true freshmen lead an offensive line that is poised to be, in my estimation, one of the best, if not the best, in the country. And when you're talking about football and you're talking about putting together a great offensive football team, you always start with offensive line. And to have both of those guys back for a third year and knowing that they started as true freshmen, and then two other starters, knowing that offensive line is going to set the tone for us, that's a great place to start.
It's something that we've all talked about from the moment Brian Kelly showed up, his focus on the offensive line, and they've certainly done just that. The other watch list that came out on Wednesday is one that LSU has had a lot of success with over the years, but was not present on today. It's the Thorpe, which goes to the best defensive back in college football you well know. Of course, Patrick Peterson won it in 2010, and Mo Claiborne won it a year later in 2011, and Grant Delpit won it in 2019, although Delpit should have won it in 18 and Stingley should have won it in 19, but sometimes it goes that way. And that's not even counting guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Derek Stingley and Jamal Adams and Eric Reed and Tre'Davious White, Greedy Williams, all first-team All-Americans that LSU has pumped through this program in the last decade and a half. And one of the things whenever watch list season comes around that for years has been my point about watch lists is I'm less impressed when someone is on a watch list than I am concerned when someone isn't. Because when you have a watch list that includes 50, 75, 100 players on it, which sometimes it happens on these watch lists, if your guy isn't on the watch list, that's more of a concern because everybody's on the watch list. And so there's 50 defensive backs, 50 defensive backs on the Thorpe Award watch list, and none of them are from LSU. That is a staggering decline when you think about what this secondary was for a decade plus, really for almost 2 decades, and where they are now. To where you don't have a draftable prospect in that secondary and you don't have a single guy on the Thorpe Award watch list. Not semifinalist, not finalist, not winner, watch list. And they're not wrong. Who would you put on the list? I would tell you, by the end of the year, the best candidate to think that someone might be in that conversation, I think, is Zy Alexander. Started 8 games a year ago. Was a 3-year starter at Southeastern. Was a really good player for LSU a year ago. I'm not telling you Zy would have been an all-SEC type player, but he was a good starting SEC defensive back for 8 games, tore his ACL. Now, was coming off of a torn ACL, and I don't know how it's going to look. But if it looks like it did last year, then you got something. Maybe one of the Ohio State transfers, J.K. Johnson, Jair Brown, maybe one of those guys steps up. Maybe a freshman like P.J. Woodland. I love the style of play that P.J. Woodland has. I love that as an early enrollee, as a true freshman, he was out there taking reps with the ones in spring. I love that. I don't love the idea of starting a true freshman, putting him on an island in the SEC, because we saw that last year with Stamps and Toviano, and it didn't look great. Not saying anybody can't do it. Eli Ricks started as a true freshman. Derek Stingley started as a true freshman, was the best defensive back in college football in 2019. That's also a generational type talent. So I'll reference again kind of what Brandon Taylor said and what he alluded to in that conversation an hour ago. I don't know that the talent, the physical ability is there in this secondary to think they're going to be awesome. You don't have a Derek Stingley. I don't think you have a Grant Delpit back there, a Jamal Adams. There's nobody like that. They're coming. Oh, they're coming. DJ Pickett's on the way. You might get Jonah Williams. They're coming. The cavalry is on the way. The reinforcements are coming. But they're not here right now. At least not that it's presenting. So if you don't have that physical ability, how much with the intangibles, how much of that gap can you make up? The difference between not having the ability, the difference in the elite physical ability to where you are, how much of that gap can you make up with the intangibles? How much can Corey Raymond coach him up? How much can just knowing your assignment narrow that gap? That's the kind of thing that's the kind of thing we're going to start to figure out, but I'm going to tell you what my full expectation is tomorrow. I'm going to go out to practice at 9:45 a.m., and we're going to watch receivers against cornerbacks. Because this happened last year on the first day of practice. And I remember exactly where I was standing charting this. Because I left practice and I did a hit with Jimmy and Charlie on Live at Lunch. And I told them of the 20 reps or whatever I charted, the offense, the receivers won like 18 of the 20. And normally the defense has an upper hand on the offense. And it was so overwhelming, it was staggering. And I remember Jimmy's comment to me on the air was, man, that's not great. Usually the defense has the upper hand early because offense needs timing, new quarterback, all that stuff. It wasn't a new quarterback last year, you understand. But anyway, I'm going to go tomorrow, and I'm fully going to expect Kyron Lacey and Chris Hilton and Shelton Sampson and C.J. Daniels and all those guys to go win their one-on-ones on an island against LSU's defensive backs. But the better question will be whenever they start getting into pads and into team periods, and you can maybe have pressure from a defensive end. You can have help from a safety. You can double team a guy. How does that start to look? And a lot of that's more knowing your assignment than winning a one-on-one. But I'll be out there tomorrow. Let you know how it goes. All right, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Tell you every single day, do business with someone you know. That's me, that's Ryan Terrio, that's Richard Tilley, Joe Morales, Trent Davis. It's our whole crew over at Parish. And, man, I'm fired up. Our new office is almost done. It's on Lavo Lane. If you're driving down I-10, you know where Blue Bayou is? Just look across the interstate from Blue Bayou. That's going to be our new office. You'll see it big. It'll have a big green roof on it. We're going to have a sign that you'll be able to see from the moon. It's going to be so cool. Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. If you are having issues with your roof or think you might, we'd love to give you a free no-obligation roofing inspection. And I'm so fired up about this as well. We just hired a new commercial roofing division manager coming in. Actually hired him away hired him out of the state of Florida to come work with us here. We've grown to that size where we had to go pluck someone to just run that division solely and exclusively. So no matter if it's you need a boot replaced on your home, or it's a gigantic commercial property and you're having issues with your roof, you want to talk to us about that coating property that we have and the coating product, we'd love to help you out. Parish Construction Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, or you just fill out the form on the homepage. You can give us a call at 364-1007, 364-1007 for Parish Construction Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com. All right, it's after further review. One more from Brian Kelly here. He did talk about going out to Vegas and the very likely attendance disparity between LSU and USC fans.
Anybody going to Las Vegas? We got 2 people. Good. All right. We should really scare USC then. Maybe we can get the band to come. All right. That's 8.
I think there's going to be a few more than 2. Talking to Jason Ramazan, who we're traveling with, me and Hester and T-Bob and our crew. We're traveling with Mr. Funds. By the way, I need to check to see if that's sold out. There might still be a couple of spots left. I need to check. But if you're still looking to go to Vegas, check with Jason Ramazan and Mr. Funds Travel. When I was talking to Jason about a month ago, he said this trip would be second only in interest to the Lambeau trip to Green Bay in 2016 when an estimated 35,000 LSU fans made that trip to Lambeau. So not just LSU fans going from Baton Rouge and from Louisiana. I think you have West Coast LSU fans that are going to really descend upon Vegas as well. It's going to be a great trip and a lot of LSU fans. Curious to see if that game sells out. Oh, actually, text me right now. Hang on, let's see. 4 spots left. It's good to know when your friends are listening. So yes, 4 spots left. If you're interested in going on the trip out to Vegas with Mr. Funds Travel, he's got 4 spots left on the plane. T-Bob, Hester, and I will be on that flight. So we're leaving out of Baton Rouge on Thursday and coming home on Monday on Labor Day. So if you're interested, MrFundsTravel.com, MRFUNS, MrFundsTravel.com. 4 spots left on the plane. Hotel at the Aria. Bus transportation to and from airport, hotel, game, all that sort of stuff. Game ticket included. Check it out, MrFundsTravel.com. 4 spots left. We'll see y'all there. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll do some Pluckers trivia. What else we got? Oh, new technology coming to the NFL preseason. We got to get to that. We'll do what we learned, Ask Us. Still a long way to go in this final half hour. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. And we say complete employer solutions because if you're a business owner and you're struggling through the hiring rat race, you're struggling to find the right people for your job, man, let Glow Resources help. Glow Resources differs from other third-party companies in so many ways. They don't just send you resumes to send resumes. The candidates need to meet the requirements. So they're going to know specifically what you're looking for, and the fact that they interview thousands of people a year, some 15,000 people a year, they know exactly the questions asked to find the right candidates. Another thing about Glow that I talk about often, y'all, they don't claim to be the fastest. They take their time. They find the right person. But their culture is awesome. They're a fun group to deal with. It's Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
Value Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Value Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Value Ford is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision.
50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
It's coming to the NFL preseason, not entirely doing away with the chain gang, but we are going to start to see the Hawkeye technology from Sony implemented. This is the technology that, if you watch tennis or volleyball or damn near any other sport in the history of mankind, where if you're watching a broadcast and you're looking at if the ball was in or out on the line, they could show you the little imagery. That's this technology. Cameras all over the place, and it can measure where the ball is and all that stuff. Well, they're finally in the NFL trying to do away with chain gang, which tangentially is one of the most asinine things you could possibly imagine in the year 2024, where we have AI technology, AR technology, where you could put a contact lens in your eye and be transported to a completely different place, where you can type something into a search box, and in 10 seconds you could have a 10,000-word essay written by a computer. And yet we got two old dudes with sticks and 10 yards of chain linked between them to determine if someone reached a line to gain. It's one of the most asinine things possible. Can you imagine aliens coming down to this planet, looking at all of our technology, and then trying to explain that to them? Yes, we have autonomous vehicles. You can push a button and it will drive you where you want to go. Yet we can't measure 10 yards without two fat guys carrying sticks, lugging them on. And by the way, if it's close, the ref is going to take out an index card and see if he can slide it between the ball and the stick. And that's how we determine line to gain. You mean you don't have the tech? No, we have the technology. We're just choosing not to use it in football. By the way, Hawkeye technology, we did this bit a while back because tennis has been using it since 2006. And so we looked at all the pop call, what was going on in the world in 2006. I was actually wrong. Yes, tennis has been using it since 2006. But the first time the Hawkeye technology was actually used was in 2000. They were using it for cricket. in the year 2000. 24 years ago. The year I graduated high school. When I still had hair. Well, I had hair longer than that. But anyway, not much longer. That's how long this technology's been around. And the NFL is only now starting to test Hawkeye technology to measure first downs in the preseason. By the way, they estimate it'll save about 40 seconds each time they use it to use Hawkeye for a first down instead of bringing out the chain gang to measure. Less pee break time if you're in the stadium drinking beer. All right. It's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. Let's do some Pluckers trivia. Hit it, Muse.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
All right, nerds unite. It's Harry Potter trivia, so Muse is going to nail it.
What's that? I don't really know the technical term for it.
A little giggle?
A little giggle. A little a sarcastic giggle.
See, how do I know you're not just going to tank this, Muse?
What do you mean?
Because you want to pretend like you don't know everything about Harry Potter when everybody knows you're a Harry Potter fan.
Okay, I'm not. You
can keep denying it.
I will reiterate.
But denial ain't just a river in Egypt.
It's true. It's not. I have never read the books. I have never seen the movies. Now, that being said, the caveat that I will give you is there are memes in internet culture, which I have seen, that maybe I luck into one or two.
Like Slumdog Millionaire?
There you go.
If you don't know the reference, the movie that it's like a poor guy from India who wins Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but he didn't actually know any of the answers. It was just cultural things that had happened to him in his life that he knew the answers. Great. Cool movie.
That's where this would go with Harry Potter.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Do you believe that Muse has never read a Harry Potter book or seen a Harry Potter movie?
I do not believe him.
Me neither. He did it again.
Because I know y'all are just blatantly saying that.
All right, Muse, here we go. No, we know you, Muse.
Exactly. And because you know me, you know that I have never done any of those things. Read or seen the Harry Potter stuff.
I mean, when Pete Sampras was out there winning tennis major championships, what were you doing, Muse?
I was, let's see, that was the 90s, so I was just born and probably still in diapers and toddler phase.
You won a lot of championships over a lot of years, Muse. I think you were watching Harry Potter. All right, here we go. Which pranking poltergeist from the books was cut from the films?
I don't know. Paul? Lifeline?
I didn't watch any of the movies.
Call
or read any of the
T-Bob.
books.
Let's see if he knows this answer. Call T-Bob. I'll remind you about Michelle while we're calling T-Bob live. Michelle weighing and measurement. Michelle.com. You weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. ISO 17025 accreditation available. They're just the best. More than 30 offices across a dozen different states. You may not know what ISO 17025 accreditation is. If you don't know what it is, you don't need it. If you know what it is, you know why it's important. Because I have people tell me that all the time. I hear you say that, and you're right. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know specifically about the calibration, but I know it's important. It's Michelle weighing and measurement online, Michelle.com. Michelle.com. All right, we calling him? What we got? We got action? No action? Yeah, I'm not surprised here.
No action yet.
What do we think T-Bob is doing at 5:41? Oh, the answer? Yes! We got action?
We got action. He's here.
All right, for Bob! Baba Bear. About time you came through for once in your life. All right, hey. Muse is stumped on Harry Potter trivia.
Yeah, what you got?
Which pranking poltergeist from the books was cut from the films?
Am I allowed to go ahead and answer?
Yeah.
Peeves.
Oh, my God! Yes! All right. All right, hang on. We got 2 more, all right? All right.
Okay.
What is the name of the Harry Potter stage play?
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
That's super talent. Look at my guy. One more. I just got to call T-Bob for trivia now. You never get a damn thing right.
That's not
T-Bob
true.
comes in here. You never get anything
I
right.
went 2 and 1 last week.
You never get anything right. One of the questions he got right one time, T was like, has New Orleans ever hosted the draft? Like, that was literally a question he got right one time.
Hey, I mean, look, dude, a win's a win.
I guess. All right, here we go, T. What position on the Quidditch team does Ron get?
Keeper.
Yes! 3 for 3! T-Bob! King of the nerds! Bow down to your king, Muso! Bend the knee! T-Bob! Royal leader of the nerd kingdom! Without even a flinch, T! You did that more effortlessly than Star Wars trivia!
I know, dude. I've read every Harry Potter book probably at least 4 times. I've probably read the first one like 10 times.
Hey, tonight at Pluckers is Harry Potter trivia. Go there tonight.
I would do pretty well, but I've been humble in this regard. Like, anytime a universe gets that large, you can get really... Whoa, relax, dude. Don't yell at me. I'm on the radio. Jeez.
Hey, is that Quad Bob?
No, this is my Mrs. Little Odette.
I was going to say, is Quad Bob talking yet?
No, Quad Bob speaks in grunts.
Yeah, I didn't think
grunts
so.
and whines.
I didn't
like,
think. Yeah. I didn't think.
He's like a caveman.
It's kind of like his dad.
Yeah, exactly. So we speak the same language.
That's so good. No, so listen, you should go to Pluckers tonight, bring the kids, dominate, win like $1 bajillion in gift cards.
Yeah, I think I will definitely. I would love to. I do not think that these kids would allow me to focus on the Harry Potter questions. But if anybody's going and wants to cheat, just text me.
Not a bad idea, but they'd have to have your number to text or call you.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. So this is a shout out to anybody that's listening that I know.
Okay.
I've had the same number since high school. I've drunkenly given this number out a lot.
I know, man.
My phone has AIDS, basically.
Same. I've had this. I've had this number. Well, I guess when were you in high school? How long? So what year would you have had your number?
I guess I first would have gotten this about 06, 05, somewhere around there.
I've had my number since 2001.
Wow.
Same number. Do you know how many people have my number? And I just have. I'm like, I have no idea.
Damn, your phone, your number's about to be able to rent a car, huh? I mean, you got to be getting close. Isn't it like 24, 25 when you can rent a car?
I don't know. I just know like drinking age and all that sort of stuff. All right, well, this has been awesome. Thanks for actually doing something productive for me in your life. I mean, this is great.
Look, dude, I think, did you like the bio and the write-up on the show?
No, that was terrible. They were both terrible. But I guess it's appropriate for you. But I had T-Bob write a bio for himself and a summary for OTB for the website that we're updating, and they were both atrocious. But it was written in your native language, so I suppose
exactly.
like it's your literary voice. But I don't think that the average person that reads that is going to know that it's your literary voice. They're going to be like, "This doesn't sound great." Actually,
I'm like, look, man. They said the same thing to Robert Kennedy. You know, he couldn't get Confederacy of Dunces published until after he died. So some of us are just tortured geniuses.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, go to Pluckers.
My name's Vincent Van Bob.
What?
Get it? Vincent Van Bob. It's like a Van Gogh joke. Tortured genius.
Yeah, but he was a painter.
He was a painter. No candy.
I just want to listen to the Bobs.
Yeah. Hey, we got dinner on the way. Relax, guys.
Hey, what's for dinner?
I ended up going jambalaya. I got all the stuff to make spaghetti, but I forgot noodles.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah, that's not good.
Kind of a critical piece of the spaghetti recipe.
I'm gonna come over and eat some jambalaya tonight. I just invited myself. It's going to happen.
I'll bring. I'm sure you're going to come. You're going to come after work. I would not. My house is so messy right now.
Who cares?
Just from like unpacking, and my wife's redoing the kids' closets. I would not let anybody in this house. I would die defending my entryway. A vampire would never be allowed to cross this threshold.
That's so good. Michael McIntyre sent a text on the show text line, said, how can you not see a Harry Potter movie? Were you born and raised on a rock? I think he means under a rock. But
I mean, I would say
do you live under a rock?
Potter was. I mean, it's always interesting. You know, stuff's like not seen one like or part one on TV maybe, but like Potter's just. I think Potter missed you by just a little bit.
Yeah, I've not seen a Harry Potter movie or read a Harry Potter book. I know nothing about any of it. Zero.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And my oldest sister's your same age, and she never had any affinity. All she wanted to do was like listen to Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, I'm there.
And like be like deep in her emotions.
Yeah. By the way, it's so appropriate that you're here because we're going super long now because you have no respect for the clock. But I'm not going to let you do the same thing to the end of my show. So have a good night. I'll see you later. That's T-Bob. Right?
All right,
it's After Further Review. We'll wrap up next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. It is, it's 95 degrees. It's 95 degrees at 5:49 p.m. We're in it, y'all. We are in the throes of summer, of the heat wave. And y'all, if you have issues with your AC, you know who to call. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. It's their busy season because, of course, it is. We're in Louisiana where it's 95 degrees on July 31st at 6 p.m. So if you have issues with your AC, remember, River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. When you call the office, you're not getting an answering service. When you call the office, you're going to talk to a living, breathing human that will help you get organized to get someone, a technician, out to your house. If you need a repair, they're always going to give you a good, better, and best option, and you make the decision after you gather the information. They're never going to pressure you into doing something. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas de asientos. El totalmente nuevo Infinity QX80 de 3 filas.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
On the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. Tomorrow, LSU football hits the practice field. The Saints have a day off. Pretty fired up about LSU at the first day of fall camp. Full media availability, 9:45 a.m., media access to the practice. We get to watch the whole thing. And then Brian Kelly meets with reporters after, so we'll have a full practice report on AFR tomorrow. We'll look for you then. We'll get to what we learned here in just a quick second. When's Otter back, by the way?
Otter is back on Monday.
Okay. Feels like it's been a pretty extensive absence. Was he here the week we were in Dallas? Or was he gone that week?
I'm not sure.
Because this is the second full week that we've been back, and he hasn't been on.
He hasn't been on.
It's been a minute.
I mean, it normally gets close to a month whenever he's out there, man.
What, that guy. Go have your fun there, Otter. All right, we'll get to what we learned in just a second. Hey, you need dinner plans tonight, Supper Club. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. Bar seating open. You can walk on into Supper Club, get a premium cocktail, glass of whiskey, glass of wine, have dinner at the bar. Maybe early seating reservations, great time to get on by Supper Club. And I know I keep mentioning it to you, but Christmas is going to be here before you know it. You want to book that Christmas party, that holiday party for your entire organization? Do it now. The private room. You could rent out the entire building. It's available. You can inquire. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Or if you just want to go have the best meal of your life, you can do it. Every Tuesday through Saturday over at Supper Club. So they're open tonight. Knocking off of work. Get on by, have a glass of wine, have some dinner tonight at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, we're getting on down the road here. Been a really good show. If you missed anything, catch AFR on demand. Muse, what'd you learn today?
Taylor Calandro won't mix his whiskey with anything, but mixes nice tequila in cocktails.
Yeah. I didn't get the whole, why you would mix good tequila in a cocktail. Whatever. Paulie, what'd you learn today?
I learned that there's no LSU Tigers on the Thorpe Award watch list.
How about that?
What'd you learn, Matt?
That T-Bob has had his phone for 21 years. Or no, since he was 21. Oh, a long time. It was something like that. Okay.
AFR.
As we get on down, what did he say? Since he was a senior
Since he was high school.
21 years? 20,
somewhere around there.
Somewhere between. Optimize, generatorpeople.com, generatorpeople.com. Hey, y'all, don't get complacent. It's still storm season. And we all cross our fingers and say our prayers and hope that we're not affected by a hurricane this storm season or ever. But we know there is an inevitability when you live where we live. Storms come, knocks the power out. And if you actually take a minute to remember what it was like the last time you were inconvenienced like that, what I'm about to tell you is going to make a lot of sense. What if when the power went out, you aren't waiting in long lines for gas, waiting in long lines for ice, sweating every day? What if as soon as the power went out, your power came right back on because you had a Generac automatic home standby generator? Optimize makes that happen every day. GeneratorPeople.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.